Welcome to the Biz and Tech Podcast. My name is Blake Dowling. I'm the CEO of Aegis Business Technologies in Tallahassee, Florida. And today we are talking all things big brothers, big sisters. We have Brian Walgamott, former chair of the board, and we have Molly Lord, CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters in the studio. First, we're going to sit down with Brian, but before we get started, normally we talk about cybersecurity, but the weather is perfect. It is the most wonderful time of the year. No, not Christmas, not Festivus. It's college football season. The Gators are doing, we'll say, outstanding because we actually won a game. And Graham Mertz was named SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Congrats, Graham Mertz. But back to you, Brian. You are a shareholder at Thomas Howell Ferguson, and we have known each other for a long time. We'll talk about our commonality here in the community, all things Big Brothers, Big Sisters. But first, introduce yourself. What do you do at Thomas Howell Ferguson as a shareholder, and what led you to Big Brothers, Big Sisters? Take it away, man.
Sure. Thank you, Blake. As Blake said, my name is Brian Walgamott. I'm a shareholder with Thomas Howell Ferguson CPAs. I came up in the tax department, so I've done a lot of tax consulting, business consulting, but also now head up our outsourced accounting department. So that takes up a good bit of my time. But those are the two key roles as they stand right now.
Awesome. So how did you first get introduced to Big Brothers, Big Sisters?
So, interestingly, I think it was a group that you and I were both a part of probably 10, 11 years ago now, but Access through the Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce used to have leads groups, and Blake and I were both a part of that of one of those leads groups back a number of years ago.
When we used to be young professionals.
When we used to be young professionals, indeed. And a gentleman named Park Broom, who was a former chair here at Big Brothers Big Sisters, was at the time the chair of that leads group, and promoted it, talked a lot about it, really got me interested in it. And so I approached him one day and said, hey, I'd love to join the board if you all have an opening. So he brought me in, got to meet with the executive director at that time, got to know a little bit more about the organization, got even more interested in it, and eventually joined the board. So that was 2016, somewhere around in there.
Awesome. Time flies. Yeah, around the same time, I had wrapped up Leadership Tallahassee with Adam Watson, Dave, had just met Park, and there was just such a buzz around Big Brothers Big Sisters within the chamber, within the community, just like there is today. And I did not ask to join. However, I was asked to join, but it was great timing, and the stars definitely aligned with all of those individuals. And great to see them all still involved. So you were chair of the board of directors during a very interesting time when a pandemic hit our community and nation. Walk us through what leadership was like during that time. I was your vice chair, so I was certainly right there with you. But what was that like personally from where you sat?
Yes, you were most certainly in the trenches for that as well. And, we are a mentorship organization, and that mentorship historically and traditionally was face-to-face. So people were meeting face-to-face, whether that be in a school setting, whether that be out to lunch, whether that be at a ball game. And of course, none of those things could happen during a significant part of the pandemic. So the team had to get very creative in ways to still provide those mentorship services to our littles. And I will commend our team at the time and continuing into the team that we have now for getting very creative and looking for opportunities to do that. We had to essentially use technology. We got a ton of laptops through a grant from, I believe it was Walmart, and that allowed for, even if you couldn't be face-to-face in person, you could be face-to-face at least over a screen, and continuing those mentorship relationships. But it was most certainly a challenging time, like it was for many folks, but particularly for the folks that are used to being face-to-face, it had some unique challenges.
I was trying to share with our staff last Friday. We have a staff meeting every Friday morning, and I was like, most of us that were here remember that time, and hey, let's go home. Great, somebody's got to stay here. We have logistics that are based at headquarters, and I started our first Zoom meeting, and I was like, where am I in this screen? I didn't have a camera on my computer. It was such a Wild West time for everyone. But my point for that meeting was think if you were a young person in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program and your school had just said you're going home and you don't have a computer at home. And like you said, from that grant, a lot of machines were donated. And one of our technicians, Keith Ratcliffe, Alva Striplin, former executive director, had given me about 12 laptops that people had dropped off at the building. And I gave those to Keith one afternoon and said, hey, can you wipe and reload these, all of them? Because you're the only person here. It's just me and you. Literally, that was our office for a couple of days. And then my assistant joined us, and then Jeannie joined us. And another technician, Mike Harris, joined us. But, to go from a staff of 24 that we have now to 4 with everyone else remote, it was a different time. But to see BBBS grow stronger during that time, and to watch you lead us during that time, it was powerful. So thank you for that. That'll lead us to our next question. What would you say is the most powerful experience you've had while being on the board at Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Sure. Well, you kind of stole my thunder there. It was certainly the dynamic decision making, not just at the board level, but I would say even more particular at the staff level, that was done to accommodate the challenges of COVID. That is the biggest lift that I've seen for this organization since I've been a part of it. It was very powerful to see the dedication of the group to continue to serve the littles and the community during that time.
Absolutely. If you had to name a mentor in your career or life, considering you've been part of the mentorship organization, what about for you? Who's that mentor in your career?
Sure. So, personally, I'd have to say, my father. He taught me, great work ethic. He was a military guy, and taught me organization, taught me, dedication to a cause, all those things. Professionally, I've had a number of mentors, but I would say most impactful has probably been Winston Howell, who was the managing shareholder for many years at Thomas Howell Ferguson. I was fortunate enough to get to work with him directly very early in my career, and got to lean on his wisdom and his collective expertise, both in tax, which is what we were generally dealing with, but also just general business consulting. It was always interesting to me to go out and go to meetings with him, with clients, and we talk about tax for 10% of the time, and we talk about just general business dynamics and business decision making the other 90%. And clients were so interested to hear his opinions and his sage advice on their different business-related problems. That really stuck with me, and so I've tried to develop, as much as I can, a similar level of expertise as my career proceeds.
You guys have a lot of heavy hitters in your office, Allison, Julian, Winston, Jeff. I've worked with a lot of them, but Winston does certainly stand out as someone that knows what he's talking about. We've had some great chats over the years. Awesome community servant. So veering, we started talking about football. You went to what school?
I went to several schools, actually. I was
Okay.
a little bit of a nomad. So I went to University of Kansas, started out there. I finished my original degree at Wichita State, and then I did about 40 hours of undergrad and my Master's of Accounting program at Florida State.
Okay.
So I've been a
you're
Jayhawk, a Shocker, and a Seminole.
a Shocker. Wow, I just learned something. I didn't know that was the mascot for Wichita State.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. So Kansas or Florida State, who do you pull for? Or both. You can have two teams.
I'll say Kansas basketball, going to a game at Allen Fieldhouse is one of the best sports watching experiences that you can have. It's incredible. But Doak is no slouch either, so I've enjoyed rooting for both teams.
Well, congrats on the successful year the Seminoles are having. It's good for the community, so I can say that with sincerity as a UF graduate and fan. But come November, of course, we'll have to draw the line in the sand.
That's all right. Just for a week. We'll be fine.
Exactly. But it is truly the most wonderful time of the year. If you have a football day routine, what does that look like? Going to the game, setting up on the deck? Walk me through a game day if you have minimal, responsibilities.
Sure. So if it's a home game, I've generally split my time. We do entertain in the box for Thomas Howell Ferguson. So about half the games I'll be up there. The other half I take my son. He's he's middle school age. He's at that age where the sports the players are his kind of heroes, and so he really loves going to the games
That's
and
special.
getting to see.
That's
So
cool.
I make sure we make time for that. On away games, it's must-watch TV. So whether we're having friends over or what have you, we're going to barbecue. We're going to set aside that time where we're watching it. At least he and I, usually the whole family.
Ironically, both my stepkids went to Florida State after having grown up going to Gator games with Jeannie and I. And we used to stay at the team hotel, which was a nice experience. Mm-hmm. So we'd roll in on a Friday night, and they'd be in their team meetings. And I would give them a Sharpie and a football and have everybody stand outside the team meeting rooms. And we got to know that generation of Florida teams, and hugely special opportunity. And lo and behold, when they decided to go to Florida State, guess who got all that autographed gear? Footballs, newspapers, it's all in my office. Mm-hmm. So it's literally a win-win. But when you get behind the scenes a little bit, and because you're right, you look up to those players, and they are heroes, and I could talk about college football all day, but we won't.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. If you could time travel anywhere, anytime, where would you go? What would you do?
I guess I would like to go back to, zero AD, to where there was so much going on in the world at that time. Obviously, birth of Christ, things like that. I think that it was just a time where the trajectory of at least the Western world made a big pivot, and I think it'd be interesting to be around and see the goings-on at that time.
That's a heavy answer, and not to make light of it, but that's also the pre-deodorant era.
It's true.
Yeah, so a lot of history shows Jeannie and I watch, we'll have that discussion. Like, that they're wearing 17 layers of clothing and there's no deodorant. All right, so here's a good one for you. If you could be in a band, any band, who would you be, and what corresponding instrument or vocalist would you be?
So I would, my favorite band is J.J. Grey and Mofro. So I would follow them wherever they wanted to go. They play the venues I like. I'm not a big, stadium tour type of guy. I would much rather see a show at a, small to medium-sized venue, the Moon or Cascade size.
The Moon is a perfect venue.
Absolutely.
Especially since their renovations. The slight elevation throughout the room. It's perfect.
It sounds great. I mean, everything. I love that band, and they always have a lot of folks in their band. So I could do. I'm not musically inclined, not musically talented, so I could be, the cymbal guy or something. Just some percussionist somewhere in the band.
So you want to invent your own position within an existing band.
That's right.
You don't want to take anybody's place. That's very original. The Mighty Mighty Bosstones had a hula hoop person that just hula hooped. Or was that the Dandy Warhols? I think it was the Dandy Warhols. Anyway, they had a hula hooper. So there's a place for everyone in the world. And stadium shows, I hear you and I feel you. Club shows are great. Theater shows are great. But I saw the Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett show last year in Las Vegas' stadium, where the Raiders now call home. Unbelievable. Big time pyrotechnics, laser light show. Unbelievable. And Joan Jett, I think, stole the show. And then Def Leppard. And I went to see Motley Crue, and they were like third on the list. Sorry, Vince.
I'm impressed that bands of that generation can still get out there and rock it like they do. We went and saw ZZ Top here at the Civic Center a couple years ago, and they were just voices just as clear as ever. And, I mean, they're not jumping around much, but still impressive for a bunch of 70-year-olds.
Absolutely. They're from Houston, Texas, where my father and aunt are from, and they have high school stories with Billy and Dusty and Frank that are hilarious, like bringing liquor to school in their thermoses. And they would always play their last show of the tour at the Summit in Houston, the big arena that's now a church, ironically. But amazing last show of their tours, the Eliminator Tour, the Afterburner Tour. Like, we saw the really big ones, mind-blowing. All right, Brian, anything to share as we close today about Thomas Howell Ferguson, about your service with Big Brothers Big Sisters? What's your closing thought?
So my closing thought would just be, if someone's watching this or listening to this and, they're considering how they can make an impact in the community, to me, there's no better way than Big Brothers Big Sisters. You're One, you're dealing with youth, so you're talking to people and engaging with them in the early stages of their life, where their life is still ahead of them. They can take it any direction that they want. You can help guide them, down that path. A lot of times, these kids, they're good kids. They're in high risk situations. They just need a little nudge in the right direction. Parents need a little support oftentimes, and you can make a huge impact in these kids, making sure they're staying on track and doing things that are productive for them and productive for the community. So I'd encourage you, if you have any interest, please look into being a big. It's very rewarding. Look into being on the board or getting involved in however you would like. There's plenty of volunteer opportunities, but that would be my final thought and encouragement.
Awesome. If you need any accounting expertise, Thomas Howell Ferguson, Brian, Winston, Jeff, Kanita, Becca, Julian, Allison. I missed some folks there, but amazing team, and it has been an absolute pleasure serving with you in the community the past 7-ish years, and especially leading the organization the past few years. Thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us on the show.
My
and
pleasure.
We will segue into our next guest, Molly Lord, who Brian and I had the privilege of getting to know right when the pandemic ended, and that led to her reign as executive director. We'll bring Molly up next. Thank you, Brian. Welcome back to the Biz and Tech Podcast. I'm still Blake and glad you're still here. Now we welcome Molly Lord to the show, CEO, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Big job there. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to. Let's talk about Bowl, which is coming up. We got a few lanes to sell, correct?
That's right. So the start of the school year is really a busy time of the year for us. We are starting to re-engage our bigs back into our site-based program. We have our annual Bowl for Kids' Sake event that comes up. That's November 5th. We do have a few lanes left. They are going fast, and it's always just a fun event, opportunity to get out with team building, with our bigs and littles, and it's just a fun night. We turn the lights off in the bowling alley, and so it's like a little cosmic event, and it's just a great time.
There are a lot of events in our community, and if you do work with the chamber and with other organizations for a long time, they start to overlap a little bit. But I think what's really special about Bowl is just from my staff. I talked about our Friday meeting when Brian and I were talking. Mm-hmm. I ask regularly, okay, who wants to go to such and such dinner? Who wants to go to happy hour? Who wants to go to this? And usually it's the same 2 or 3 hands. When I said, who wants to go bowl with Big Brothers Big Sisters 7 years ago, every hand at the table went up. And we formed a bowling team, the Lucky Strikes, which is still part of our fall every year. And the team is we added 3 new members to the team this year. We got some new shirts. The Lucky Strike shirts are great. Anyway, we're so excited to be part of it this year. And congratulations on getting the event ready. It's one of the best events in town.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I'm glad. It's something different. I think it's not your dinner event. It's not you have to get dressed up fancy. Those types of things. It is really a come as you are. We do have because it's around Halloween. We have a costume contest and some other fun things that we get to do there. So
and family friendly.
It is. Absolutely.
I tell people you can bring your kids, you can bring your spouse, you can bring whoever you want.
Yep.
Bring your buddy.
Yeah, and learn more about Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's right.
Absolutely. So what led you to Big Brothers Big Sisters? Walk us down your professional journey.
So I came up here for school, and I am one of the ones that stayed in Tallahassee, much to my chagrin, but the city really grew on me. I got involved with the chamber. I was in nonprofit ever since I graduated college. And I went into the for-profit side for a little bit, but I quickly saw that was not the right place for me. And the opportunity came up. I was looking for something a little bit more challenging in my career, and the opportunity came up. And it was funny because I have a history of Big Brothers Big Sisters. My dad was a big when I was little. I don't remember the little's name, but I can see his face clear as day.
How cool is that?
My dad had 3 girls, so he was the one that really wanted a boy. And this was his opportunity to have a son and go out and do fun things and play baseball and do those types of things that his daughters really weren't interested in. So it really, for me, Blake, it came around full circle. And that was a really a neat thing to see in my career. And I was involved with Lewis when he was CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and had gotten to know him and connected with him as he was leaving too, to say, hey, I really would be interested in this. And I fully believe in timing is everything, and here I am today. So
Well, thank you for your service to our community, and thank you for your leadership to the organization. What would you say has been your most powerful experience or moment thus far in your tenure at Big Brothers Big Sisters?
I get to wear a lot of different hats. So one day it might be I am a plumber or a janitor, or I'm looking at things that are going wrong with the roof.
Yeah, be the boss, they said. It'll be fun. It'll be amazing.
Right. Yeah. So you get
I take out the trash regularly. That's my favorite CEO's duty.
Yeah. And I am that type of person. I like to get my hands down and dirty. I like to get involved, and I learn best by sitting with our team. And our team really was able to show me exactly what they get to do on a daily basis. But I think the biggest thing for me is I'm learning, and I learn every single day, and I continue to learn as our world evolves, as parents' needs change, as our bigs in the world and their engagement level and their interest level changes. I get to be creative in developing programs, and I think that's really one of the coolest jobs that we get to do, and look at partnerships within the community to see how we can continue to improve the services that we're providing, not only to our families but to the youth that we serve.
Excellent. What's the last book you read?
Oh gosh, it was by Colleen Hoover, because I am addicted to her books. I have probably read all but maybe 4 of them. And I can't remember the title. I don't know. All of her books I really enjoy, and I am on a track of reading 12 books this year. So I'm reading about a book a month.
Nice.
So yeah.
If you're into mysteries / sci-fi / pop culture, there's a book called Rabbits that came out a couple years ago that's about this game that exists in real life.
Ooh,
you don't know who's playing.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the sequel just came out, and I got it in the mail, and I almost read the whole thing in one sitting. It is that good.
Yeah.
It's called The Quiet Room.
Oh, I saw some. Okay.
Available at Midtown Reader and other fine establishments here in Tallahassee, Florida.
Love it.
Awesome. So if you could be in a band, what band would it be, and what role would you have in that band?
I would have to say that I would be lead singer or backup singer. And I was thinking about this. It's either got to be the Go-Go's or the Bangles, because I'm an 80s girl. So I grew up on those. I can see my dad had the record player, and I can see the record album with them and all of those. And I loved those. They were powerful ladies, and they had fun. That's what I loved.
Awesome. Funny you say that. Jeannie mentioned a couple years ago, my wife, she said, hey, if the Go-Go's ever come around here, we should go.
Yeah.
And so I did some Google searching, and I found this musical called We Got the Beat.
Yeah, okay.
Playing in San Francisco at this small theater. And so we booked a trip, and it was a surprise. And I was like, bad news, Go-Go's aren't on tour, but there's a musical featuring their songs playing at the theater next door to the hotel. And it was amazing.
Love it.
And San Fran, that's probably a pass to go back. But the surrounding area, we went over to Big Sur after San Fran to have a little balance to the trip. Oh my gosh. I wish I was there today. I mean, it is so perfect. Big Sur, California. Unbelievable. But yeah, the Go-Go's, we just watched their documentary too.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
I'll have to watch it.
It's powerful. Great era. So what's your favorite part about living in Florida?
I'll definitely have to say the beaches. I love living in Tallahassee because we have a little bit of the hills, and it's definitely the seasons. I'm from Minnesota originally. Don't like the cold, but I love a change in the season. So in Tallahassee we get that just without the snow, and I'm okay with that. But my favorite time of year is summer. So take me out on the boat in the ocean, and I'm a happy girl.
Yeah, I love our 5 seasons. And you may think, what's our 5th season? Well, it's football season, of course, which we talked about a minute ago. What is your favorite team first, and then favorite game day tradition, pastime, etc.? Walk us through sports in your family.
Okay.
On college football Saturday.
So I will have to say I'm really getting into sports and more so in football. So go Seminoles. But really sitting down and looking and watching the game. It would be on in the background and all that stuff for me. I just, taking the family out to the game, I really think in Tallahassee, going to a game is our Disneyland. That is the fun. My son gets to go to a few games, and he's old enough where he can go by himself, so that's pretty cool. So I really think of it as our Disneyland here up in Tallahassee. And cool thing to note is that there's an amazing opportunity that Big Brothers Big Sisters has been given, and this Saturday, about 150 of our bigs and families and littles get to go to the Seminole game.
Awesome.
Some of us get to go on and do this VIP experience, is what I'm calling it. We're going to do the legacy walk with the players. We're going to go take a picture out on the field. They get to go into the locker room and sit and chat with some of the players. And these are young men who, as Brian was mentioning before, look up and idolize FSU football players, and they get a chance to sit down and talk to them and really just to get to know them. So I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for our littles and our bigs get to experience this. I don't believe we've ever had that opportunity before. And I'm really excited for it. So this might be like the highlight of opportunities that we get at Big Brothers Big Sisters with when it comes to FSU football.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And who knows, fast forward 10 years, one of those young persons, maybe they get the nudge during that experience to pursue a career in athletics, to go to Florida State, to become a lawyer. I mean, whatever it is, because, the football is only a part of those athletes' life.
Yeah.
They're studying to get their degrees, and they're an influence on our community's youth.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget walking in the Houston Oilers locker room when I was a kid and just thinking, oh my God, you don't even know this world exists. You see it on TV, or maybe you've seen it in person, but when you get behind the scenes, that's huge. That's so special. Thank you for coordinating that for our youth.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, where are you going?
I don't know if I would go back in time.
Okay, maybe if you could go anywhere in time. How about that?
I would probably like to see into the future. I don't know where in the future, maybe, 15, 20 years to see
Okay, I was
where
going to say tomorrow. You looking to play some bets?
I think that would, I'm a planner, so going into the future is just, I guess, my kind of thing.
I get you.
So,
in your career, in your life, who would you say is your mentor?
I had an amazing first boss when I came out of college, and I was actually with her for 10 years. So she is my mentor. She was a visionary. I just adored everything that she believed in. She was not only the leader up here, but she was able to get down and talk to every individual. She didn't see herself as only up here as the title of a CEO. And throughout my time with her, I learned a lot, and I was a sponge to soak up, from hard conversations to fun events to everything in between. She is a mentor in all aspects of my life, and helped shape me and who I've become and who I see myself as a leader as well.
Awesome. What's your favorite restaurant in Tallahassee?
Oh gosh. Golly. I love food. I'd have to say probably El Jalisco's, just because it's a top one on there, and they're everywhere. It's a great go-to when you're having a bad day or when you're wanting to celebrate or anything like that. So that would probably be my first pick.
Turn that frown upside down with some chips and salsa.
That's right.
Extra cheese dip
There you
also.
go.
So if anyone listening would like to get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters as a board member, as a volunteer, as a mentor themselves, how would that person contact the organization?
Awesome. It's very easy. They can go to bigbendmentoring.org. They can find out a lot of different program options that we have. Last year we created a lot of new program options. We can become a big as a couple. You can be a big as a family. We have high school bigs. So high schoolers who are 16, 17, 18 can get involved in the community. That helps them get their graduation credits that they need. It helps them on their college applications. So it's a lot of things that benefit each other and our organization as well. They can become sports buddies. That is a new program that we launched last year too. It's a 6-month commitment. It starts in January and will end in June. So if you love sports, if you're looking to get involved and engaged and want to kind of ease into it, it's a perfect opportunity to do that. And then additionally, our Big Futures program is something that we're focusing on with our high school students. So you mentioned, the kids going to the football game and learning to say, do they want to become an athlete? Do they want to do marketing? Do they want to do sports medicine or anything like that? Our Big Future program talks to students in high school and helps them with their plan so that once they graduate high school, they have a path and a journey so that they are self-sufficient. They are on their path to becoming productive citizens of our community and helping to just lead healthy and just contribute to our community here. So we're excited about that program as well. So go to our website, check out all those options. There is something for everyone, whether they're they're busy or have time commitments or seasonal and those types of things. We definitely have a program for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you and Brian both for being here today.
Absolutely.
The idea of having 2 guests on the show is a new one. Thank you, Josh, our producer, for rolling with it. Can I get a go-getters from the producer?
Go-getters.
There we go. There we go. But on a serious note, mentorship is huge. Where would we all be without the mentors in our life? To work with an organization that is all about youth mentorship has really meant a lot to me. To be the chair of Big Brothers Big Sisters for the past couple of years has been amazing. And to work with you two is inspiring.
Thank
to
you.
see you lead every day is inspiring. Thank you for that service. To lead under Brian during the pandemic, also very inspiring. And the commonality that we found with our board, with the staff, with the kids, getting involved with the kids is the best part of the program, the various events that go on. I hope you out there listening will join us. Come out, bowl with us. Come see us next spring for our spring event and be a big. You might change someone's life. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Graham Mertz. Thank you, Mayor John Daly. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your fall. Merry Christmas. Go get your Christmas tree. I saw him at Home Depot. Creepy. It's October. Blake Dowling signing off. Biz and Tech Podcast. See ya.